The greatest eaters just climbed off of the bus ready for the 100th anniversary of the Nathan's Hot Dog Contest. The key players, Joey Chestnut and Matt Stoney. Matt Stoney upset Chestnut last year. They are the focus of today's competition.
They say that competitive eating is the battleground upon which God and Lucifer wage war for men's souls, my friends, and they are right. For this is a battle of the ages, a battle of the titans. Matt Stoney, barely more than a boy, who took down the 8-time world champion. Joey Chestnut, an eating colossus laid low on his own turf, and he's back to seek revenge and retribution and redemption. For 100 years, the faithful have made their pilgrimage across this nation to bear witness to greatness. For there is only one arena for humanity's ultimate test, only one crucible in which true heroes are forged, and that is Coney Island, Brooklyn! And I ask you, what greater gift has been given to the citizens of the world than to live in the United States of America in freedom? And we have stood together at this corner, at Surf and Stillwell, shoulder to shoulder as we have for a century. So it is, and so it always shall be. Let the contest begin!
ESPN and Major League Eating welcome you to the 100th anniversary of the Nathan's famous 4th of July International Hot Dog Eating Contest. The crowd is here. Everyone is ready. It's very close to the time to eat the dog. As the greatest contestants are back, there's Joey Chestnut, there's Matt Stoney. They're, as we said, the focus of this day. And that is what they're focused on, the famous mustard belt. Can they come home as the champions and walk away with that? So, happy 4th of July and the birth of American freedom here at Coney Island. Rich Shea along with me at Surf and Stillwell. This is where everything happens. Now, it's a special time, 100th anniversary.
Unbelievable, a century here on this very corner. This is the place to be on July 4, the greatest hot dog in the world, the greatest July 4 party in the country without a doubt.
We've already said it. It's a classic matchup. The guy who just unseated the champion last year and the champion coming back hard.
It's an unbelievable rematch, and nobody knows what might happen here today. Matt Stoney, pound for pound, one of the best eaters ever. And Joey Chestnut, of course, with the 8 titles.
Last year when Matt Stoney upset Joey Chestnut. Look, the dog count has been going down and down through the years. Joey Chestnut by far dominates. And by the way, Joey Chestnut, that's over a ton of dogs over the history of this event. But what's really important here is just a few weeks ago in Washington, D.C., take a look at the number. 72, he finally got to 73 and a half hot dogs. A new world record. What's that say?
Unbelievable, really. He shattered his own record, 73 and a half Nathan's hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. Never thought it would happen.
Yeah.
I think we might see a couple guys get to 70 today.
Well, we're about to find out all of those answers. But first, let's go down to Melanie.
Well, it's always a festive atmosphere in the corner of Surf and Stillwell on July 4th. But this year, maybe more so, as Nathan's is celebrating the big 100, the century mark. And while the hot dog may not have originated here, it's safe to say that Coney Island is its adopted home. So we thought it might be timely to take the American icon and the New York City landmark and put it in context for you, historically speaking.
There's something about a hot dog.
That's where our story ends, but it begins on a boardwalk a long time ago. In the 1820s, Coney Island was a playground for the wealthy. But after the Civil War, the railroad allowed access for the masses.
Coney Island's significance comes from the respite it gave people from the humdrum of everyday life. 90 years ago, people worked 6 days a week, and then you get to go to Coney Island. There are tens, hundreds of thousands of people laughing, screaming, lights like you've never seen, mechanical amusements like steeplechase where mechanical horses race each other.
And hot dogs, where a Polish immigrant who didn't know how to read or write shaped what would become an American icon.
Nathan Handwerker, he worked in Feltman's, a large restaurant in Coney Island.
And he got $300 from Jimmy Durante and Eddie Cantor, who both worked at Feltman's, and he started his own hot dog stand. They sold them for a dime. Nathan said, I'm going out on my own. I'm going to sell them for a nickel.
The nickel empire. The nickel got you a ride from northern Manhattan all the way to Coney Island. You could take 16 different rides for a nickel. You could have gotten a hot dog for a nickel.
The problem was he wondered whether people thought perhaps there'll be lower quality, the hot dogs.
So what my grandfather did, Nathan went to Coney Island Hospital, borrowed doctor's coats and stethoscopes.
He hired a bunch of actors to stand in front of his hot dog stand all day eating hot dogs. And everybody said,
if it's good enough for the doctors, it's good enough for me.
That was just the first of many shrewd PR moves by Nathan. His boldest undertaking has endured a century.
This all started when Jim Mullen, an Irish immigrant in 1916, said whoever can eat the most hot dogs, that's the most American. And 3 of them had a contest, and Mullen won with 13. We have Jim Mullen's teeth. They were preserved in an old seltzer bottle in vinegar.
Odd, maybe, but nothing is conventional when it comes to this hot dog history lesson.
Nathan's hot dogs have been served to, kings and queens. President Roosevelt ordered Nathan's hot dogs to be shipped to Yalta so and he could present them to Stalin and Churchill. Walter Matthau, in his last will and testament, stipulated that at his funeral he wanted Nathan's hot dogs to be served, and they were.
Nathan Handwerker's original 6-by-8-foot stand has certainly evolved, but the contest, well, even 4 short decades ago, it was rather modest in scope.
I used to wait for a couple of fat guys to walk by, and I'd say, hey, would you guys like to be in a hot dog eating contest?
We'd get, a couple hundred people, curious people, maybe 1,000 or 2, and then each year it just grew and grew, and now, for it to be the spectacle and it's sort of a bucket list event, people fly in from all around the world to do this like they might go to Rio for Carnival.
Millions of people are hooked on this.
And why not? When competition meets spectacle, the entire world takes notice.
In the 80s, we got an influx of competitive eaters from Japan, and they just blew the doors off the Americans.
Well, I remember the night before Kobayashi did his 50, there were rumors that he might be able to do 30, and I would have been agog if he had done 30. He did 50. It was unbelievable.
That was a momentous day, and no one thought that he would ever be beaten, and in fact, he won the contest for about 5 years or so after that. But then Joey Chestnut came in 2007, a kid, a boy from San Jose, California, and he looked to the east and he said, I can beat him. He brought the coveted mustard belt back to America. He restored our honor. I believe that 4th of July at high noon is one of the greatest times of the year.
Coney Island.
It is a place of grit and determination and hope.
Nathan's famous.
The amazing thing is it's lasted for a century. Same place, same hot dog.
It's a match made in heaven.
Well, it's been a huge celebration here all weekend long in honor of Nathan's 100th anniversary. And what celebration would be complete without a cake, of course? It's not just any cake. It's a 5-foot-long hot dog-inspired vanilla pound cake presented by Cake Boss regular Mauro Castano.
I'm a big fan.
Can have cake. We have a lot of cake.
Oh, send some of that cake up here right now. We're ready for that. Well, coming up, we'll have a special conversation with both Matt and Joey. And then the women's competition is ready to get underway at Coney Island. ESPN's presentation of the 2016 Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest is brought to you by Nathan's Famous. Nathan's Famous is celebrating 100 years of flavor and fun. Nathan's Famous. This is the original. And the principals, the guys you'll see the most of today, and their records where Stoney dominates when we're talking the past couple of years. Rich Shea had a chance to sit down with the defending champ, Matt Stoney, and, of course, 8-time champion Joey Chestnut this weekend here at Coney Island.
You had a hot dog this week?
Had a few.
I had a couple.
Yeah, I got the lobster.
You upset the great Joey Chestnut last year. But really, if you look at the last couple of years of competitive eating, you guys are really evenly matched. What can happen that'll push one person to the win and maybe push one person to second?
I mean, you can never prepare for the fourth. The crowd, the energy, the weather. It's a hard contest to prepare for. It's really intense. I'm used to competing against Joey. I'm used to beating him. I'm used to losing to him. So, those nerves are gone.
Joey, last year, you had 8 in a row, and you failed to get 9 in a row because this skinny jean breed of a man beat you. So.
I knew going into it my training was going well. I wasn't where I wanted to be at all. And I tried to muscle through it and convince everybody I'm going to win this and get in their heads and try to convince myself I could pull it off, but I couldn't get it done. I figured out my training method when I was 22, and I'm 32, and so I needed to change. So I went back to the drawing board, broke everything down, worked on my capacity, and worked on my overall conditioning so I could breathe better during the contest.
So what's it like to go from, always being number one to falling back a tad?
It makes you hungry. It's weird. When I was number one, everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna retire on top." There were times where I even considered it. And I was like, "Oh, I'll just go back to the real world." Now that I'm number 2, it's like, all right, retirement is so far off. All I want to do is win.
Oh, look at that.
That's a winner right there.
That's a winner.
I'm never going to be happy I lost. That's what really motivated me to push harder.
The only winning you're going to be doing lately.
Matt, he pushes me, and we're going to push the limits.
Winner!
Finally, you got to not only poke the lion, but you stabbed him and you beat him at his own game on the biggest stage in the sport. So what was the past year like for you being number one?
I mean, obviously being the Nathan's champ, that's like, it's the gold standard. Just having that title, being number one in the road, it elevated a lot of stuff. It was a crazy year. I'm still trying to catch up with everything going on. Even when you guys, gave me the number 1 ranking, I said, it was like.
I remember that. You're like, I don't know if I deserve this. I'm like, yeah, you won.
I beat him at one contest, but then,
The contest.
The contest, yes. But as the year went on, Joey and I competed, beat him a few more times. Joey is a great competitor. I never take that away from him. It's always going to be a fight.
Good luck, kid.
All right. What's your favorite thing about competitive eating?
I mean, the fans come out. They're obviously great. Food's amazing, and it's the money.
Money. What about you? What's your favorite thing?
All those things, and the money.
This man's on a beach.
We'll see about that.
You guys actually live in the same town. How do you balance being a rival and then being pals as well?
We're frenemies, actually. There's times where I call him up to go get a beer, and I can tell him, he's like, why do you want to get a beer with me? You're trying to get in my head. I'm like, no, I just want to go get some drinks.
Those two up close and personal, away from the noise, an interview you will seldom see. All right, Rich Shea, we're down to it. We've previewed everything. We've talked about the guys. You've done some arithmetic. You've done some conjuring. What's happening?
Well, the popular over-under is 70. I think we will see north of 70. I think that, Matt admits that Joey has greater capacity. Matt's a speed man. This is a long contest for us, 10 minutes. I think the smart money's probably on Joey today.
So, Joey, that's him. We'll see how that actually works as we take a look at the story here on Matt Megatoad Stoney.
Up, up, and up.
So when we come back, the women are ready. They are ready for their competition and the battle for the pink belt. It is coming up next. The Brooklyn Cyclones, single-A Mets affiliate, celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest with a free hat giveaway and photo op with the mascots. The Cyclones were also outfitted with commemorative uniforms, and the first pitch was tossed by Eric Badlands Booker. A special night indeed. And we've got a 4th of July doubleheader for you today on ESPN starting at 4 Eastern. The Rockies face the Giants, and then at 7, it's the Tigers and the Indians. Major League Baseball also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. And after all the games, stay with Baseball Tonight for all the highlights and analysis from the best in the business. And we welcome you back. A huge crowd here at the corner of Surf and Stillwell and Coney Island. The women's competition is getting ready to go. And let's take a look at the records. Now, you see Sonia's been slowing down a bit. Mickey last year beat her with mere 38.
Sonia has the title at 45. The last couple of years, she's met her match in Mickey.
Right. So, we go back a little earlier today as the females took the stage for 10 minutes of competition. Sonia Thomas, of course, acknowledged warmly by the crowd.
Miki Sudo, little swagger. She's earned it.
So as they prepared, of course, there are others in this. Juliet Lee, be one to keep an eye on.
Elizabeth Petra right there at the table end. BJ Alexander.
And so as the contest began, quickly, it was Sonia that moved out in front. 22 dogs very early on. She was averaging a little over 5 dogs a minute.
She's unbelievable. Look at these two, Miki Sudo and Sonia Thomas. Talk about squad goals. I love these girls. I wish I could take the stage with them, but they would crush me.
Sudo, of course, the one to keep an eye on now. Defending champion here. What can she do against Thomas? Thomas still in the lead to this point. And then, running ahead, all of a sudden, the last 3 minutes, Miki Sudo took the win with 38.5 dogs to Sonia's 35 dogs. So when it was all over, Mickey caught up with Miki Sudo.
You beat last year's total by half a dog to win your 3rd straight mustard belt. How were you able to edge out Sonia Thomas?
Oh my gosh, I'm so relieved. Sonia came back harder than ever, but I guess I prepared just that much more to edge her out.
How much did these perfect conditions play into the way you performed today?
Oh, I mean, this is my 3rd year here, and I think it's the best weather that I've had to date. It was ideal for eating hot dogs.
Yeah, take me through that final minute because it seemed like you really took off there.
Yeah, my bun boy Gabe really gave me the incentive and motivation to keep going. When I thought I wanted to give up, I realized that I still had hot dogs to put down, and he got me through.
Thanks, Mickey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the crowd is ready. Everyone here is ready. They've seen the ladies' competition. They saw Miki Sudo, the winner. And very shortly, George Shea will introduce the world's finest eaters for the men's competition, the competitors for the mustard belt. With 2 of the biggest sporting events happening at the same time, the best way to view them both is on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Stream every point from Wimbledon and every match from Euro 2016 on your favorite device. Only watch on ESPN and the ESPN app. Now, let's go down to Melanie.
All right, thanks, Paul. We're outside the green room before the men's competition. Joey, this is the first time in 8 years you aren't defending that mustard belt. How different does this July 4th morning feel for you in terms of pressure?
I don't know about pressure, but I'm out here to have fun, and my body, I'm really happy. My body feels great, and I'm looking forward to the competition. Matt's a great eater, and he deserves to be, it's going to be a great contest.
Matt, you are the defending champion. How about for you? How's the pressure today?
You know, the pressure's real, but, you know, it's a great day. I'm glad to be out here for the 4th of July for the 100th anniversary, and looking forward to it.
You know Joey's going to do anything in his power to get that belt back. What needs to be your mindset going into this thing?
You know, it's hard, you know, just kind of not get psyched out. You know, Joey put up a great number last weekend, but it's the 4th of July. The top guy wins today, so it's all that matters. Speaking
of that number last weekend, Joey, are we going to see a new world record today here in this contest?
I'll be doing everything I can to break that record, and I'm hoping he's pushing me. I'm hoping I can keep up with him. This kid can eat, and if I ever underestimate him, he'll beat me. So I'm going in not looking to my side, just keeping focused.
All right, good luck to you both. Back to you guys.
Oh. As they continue with the preliminary ceremonies, we take a look at the top-ranked male competitive eaters.
Yeah, you know, we talk so much about Matt and Joey, but Yasser Salem, Jeffrey Esper, Adrian Morgan, this kid Cincotti, I'm sorry, I don't even know his name. He actually did 42, so there's a real battle for 3rd place today.
And, of course, as we've mentioned, Stoney and Chestnut both out of San Jose, California. It's a great tradition here, the introduction of the eaters, and it is that time. We go back up to the stage, and here is George Shea.
All hands
Everybody's on deck, batten down the hatches, belly up to the bow, do it, feel the burn. Fire in the hole, hold the phone, go big or go home. Game on, game day, game face. Never say never, never say die. Never give up, put up or shut up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's go time. Are you ready? From Chicago, Illinois, 6 feet 3 inches tall. He's a newcomer to the sport, and he says he is eating for love here today. Let's hear it for the big cat, Dan Cat. He is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert from Houston, Texas. 235 pounds, 6 feet 5 inches tall, 32 years of age, Steven Schuster. He was first seen standing at the edge of the shore between the ancient marks of the high and low tide, a place that is neither land nor sea. But as the blue light of morning filtered through the darkness, it revealed a man who has been to the beyond and witnessed the secrets of life and death. He was buried alive under 60 cubic feet of popcorn, and he ate his way out to survival. And that is why we call him the David Blaine of the bowel, the Evel Knievel of the alimentary canal, the Houdini of Cuisine, Crazy Legs Conte! He has eaten 30 moon pies in 6 minutes, 24 hot dogs and buns. He is ranked number 17 in the world by Major League Eating. He's in perfect physical condition. In fact, if there were any justice in the world, it would be called Abercrombie and Dudzinski. My friends, from Phoenixville, PA, I would like to give you the great man. Let's hear it for Brian Dudlight Dudzinski! He is an intellectual, acknowledged throughout academia for his doctoral thesis, in which he proved that Thursday is the 4th best day of the week. An undeniably brilliant person, but one can't help but question the judgment of a man who butters his cheese. Ladies and gentlemen, from Hillside, New Jersey, let me hear it for Marcos Owens. From Chicago, Illinois, he is a bodybuilder and a personal trainer. He is ranked number 13 by Major League Eating. He has eaten 14 burritos and 23 slug burgers. Let me hear it for Juan Rodriguez. He is the unstoppable ninja force at the center of all life power, and an accountant. From Las Vegas, Nevada, ranked number 11 in the world. He is the spam-eating champion of the world. My friends, give it up for Rich the Locust Lefevre! Spam-eating champion of the world. From Seattle, Washington, 6 feet 4 inches tall, he is the spot shrimp and Native American fry bread eating champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, ranked number 12, Eric Denmark. In his second season in Major League Eating, he is already ranked number 10. He is from Zaria in Nigeria and stands 6 feet 9 inches tall. He has eaten 170 Hooters chicken wings and 34 ears of corn in South Florida. Let me hear it for the great Gideon Oji. He is from Oxford, Massachusetts. A physics PhD, a scout master, a school teacher, and a father, and he recently entered competitive eating to bring some meaning to his life. 34 hot dogs and buns, ladies and gentlemen. And he is here today to try to break that record. Let me hear it for Jeffrey Esper! tongue is braggadocious, throat's an abyss, but his manners are atrocious. He's the core of the apple, the cap on the scalpel, dip in the dimple and the shadow of the devil, and he'll eat cold Joseph. It was hot when you buttered it. Eat the word from your mouth before you uttered it. Eat every letter on the periodic table. Eat the soup, eat the spoon, eat the bowl, eat the label. Killer cachet, the all-day buffet. Cream of the crop when the cream is creme brulee, and his lines of pure power link us up into the tower. Words, eat the nouns, cause it comes results and coward, cause he speaks it like Yates, and he eats what he creates, and he stands at the table like a rangers at the gate.
Only with a bromide, slicker than blow
rider.
Takes the girl to take a
low rider.
Without breathing the aroma. It puts me into a food coma. B-double-O to the K-E-R. Eating all the cookies out your jar. Lessons in lunchtime aggression. Fork and knife, I made my Smith & Wesson.
Out of nowhere, he knocked down 42 Nathan's famous hot dogs and buns. He has no respect for the world order. He wants to tear it all down with no regard to the consequences. And that is why we call him the Mutiny. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mays Landing, New Jersey, let me hear it for Carmen Cincotti, the future of the sport. He is not, as they say, book smart. In fact, if you ask him to name a country in Central America, he will say Kansas. But if you ask him to recite his 25 favorite foods in reverse order of preference, focusing primarily but not exclusively on Mexican and Italian dishes, he will not hesitate. Chicken tiki piki bakuziki, pita flauta tapa, orzo huevos marinara, osso buco empanada, antipasta bucatini, capicola poccatini, gnocchi mole sopressata, aquapazza muffaletta, panna cotta, pecorino, frito, misto, langostino, salsa verde, scallopini, tortellini. I ran out of breath. 25 favorite foods, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Yasser Salem. He ate 34 cannolis in 6 minutes. He ate 47 ears of corn in 10. Let me hear it for Yasser Salem! 33 years of age, 6 feet 1 inches tall, 200 pounds. He's the Acme oyster eating champion of the world. 42 dozen oysters in 8 minutes. He is also a gumbo and a po' boy and a crawfish eating veteran, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Morgan! Ranked number 4 in the world. Two years ago, on this stage, he asked his girlfriend to marry him. And then last year, 1 week before the contest, the wedding was called off. And then on the 4th of July, he lost the title of world champion. And he was beaten, and he was broken, and he was alone. And nothing that he owned had any value, and his thoughts had no shape and no meaning, and the words fell from his mouth without sound. And he was lost and empty-handed, standing like a boy without friends on the schoolyard. But then he remembered that he is Joey Chestnut. And there is a time for pain, and there is a time for punishment, a time for doubt, and a time for dominance, a time for forbearance, and a time for fury. And there is never, ever a time for submission. Ladies and gentlemen, the former champion of the world, here to take back what was once his, Joey Chestnut! '73, Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs and Buns. 2 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., 73 Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs and Buns, a new world record. He stands as a beacon to remind us all of the most elegant law in nature, that the young shall destroy the old in an endless cycle. And it is the brutality of the design that is his beauty. At only 23 years of age, he beat the 8-time champion of the world. And no one thought he could do it, but he believed he could do it. 200 peeps, 182 strips of bacon, 62 Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs and Buns, 21 pounds of pumpkin pie, the #1 ranked eater in the world, the Nathan's Famous 4th of July hot dog eating champion of the world, Matthew Stoner!
So those are the men. We keep track of Chestnut and Stoney. But is someone else lurking in that line of competitors? The 10 minutes of competition is next.
There you are, my favorite meat, the one I like most to eat. Mustard, ketchup, I have no preference. Dear tube of beef, thou I hold in highest reverence. A man named Nathan made you famous. We'll hold a contest to see who's greatest. America's birthday, what a splendid day to see how many they can put away. Professional eaters, the best on earth, huge of heart, but small in girth. Gather here at Nate's old place to bust a gut in this fulfilling chase. Gluten-free, no carbs, get real. Fame and fortune is their next meal. Time to see what fate has dealt, chowing down for the yellow mustard belt.
Oh, I'm so ready for Broadway. A final look before the competition begins. We go to Melanie.
Thank you, Paul. Well, it's no secret that 2015 was a down year for Joey Chestnut, both personally and professionally. But with the new year comes a new and improved Joey Jaws. He says the loss last summer was a long time coming. He'd gotten complacent in his ways and needed to develop an entirely new method of doing things. So mentally, he says he's in the best place he's ever been. Physically, he's in great shape. He's been running 3 times a week and lifting weights. But more specifically, he's developed a training regimen where he eats in minute-long sprints, followed by breaks of rest where he allows himself to catch his breath. And he says this has really helped him to develop tolerance and capacity with the food. Matt Stoney, on the other hand, is coming into this thing calm, cool, and collected. He heard about those 73.5 hot dogs put down by Joey Chestnut at a qualifier. He says those numbers don't matter. He's put up those numbers before in qualifying rounds, and he's not been able to replicate them on the big stage. So he's not letting it psych him out one bit, guys.
All right. This is the time. There they are. 10 minutes of competition. Hot dogs and buns. Here's George.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is go time now. And just remember, every time a competitor eats a hot dog, an angel gets its wings. Count it down with me from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
It's the 100th anniversary, and we are underway. They're going to have to set a pace well above 8 to 9 dogs per minute right here in the early going. They're going to have to average at least 10 per minute throughout the competition if they want to get into that 70 range.
Yeah, they will. They'll come out really fast. We're not even 30 seconds in, and Chestnut's got 5 down. And I've never seen a crowd, I just want to say this at the top, this big out here in Coney Island. I've been out here for almost 20 years, and the NYPD and the 60th Precinct's making this party what it is.
The temperatures today with bright sun into the low 80s right now.
Perfect.
It'll be warmer this afternoon as soon as they're done here. Head for the amusements, head for the beach.
All right,
9 minutes, 15 seconds to go. Chestnut already to 10. Stoney 3 behind him.
He's looking at a 12 dog minute
Now, Chestnut's got the capacity. Stoney admits that. Stoney likes a quick contest. Hit favor a 6 or an 8-minute contest. Joey's always looking for those longer ones. 10 minutes is for us. 10 minutes is a long contest for us. And Stoney, oddly, with that speed, and Joey knowing that he's got speed, Joey must have retooled his game as he promised and picked up his pace a little bit.
Oh, it's a blistering pace that he's running right now. Just past the minute gone, he's 16 dogs into it. He is 5 ahead of Stoney right now. We'll see if we get to the end how that evens out, if it does at all.
Quite a field this year. As I said, we got a lot of guys looking for that third place. A lot of money in third, and these guys want it.
Still there.
Sincati's still there. There's Adrian Morgan on the left of the screen. Matt Stoney picking up his pace a little bit. Joey Jaws Chestnut, interesting, was first chair trumpet at Vallejo High School as a kid, and he credits his trumpet playing with his cheek's ability to expand. You know who else went to Vallejo High School? Who? Yankees pitcher C.C. Sabathia, himself a lover of food.
But to contribute
to win in D.C.
And some say he's part of the future of the sport as we see the champions begin to age a little bit. He may be one of those coming up behind Stoney.
He's amazing, and there's a whole group of guys really right on. You know, you think about, I remember Joey Jaws' first contest out here, he ate 32. That was stunning. This kid ate 42 to qualify. It shows you the difference. It's an arms race.
Chestnut is flying now. 5 down to 4 ahead of Stoney. And there goes Chestnut. One more dog. The separation moves ahead. 10.1 dogs per minute for Chestnut.
You know, that is a 100 pace, Paul, and that is...
Yeah, but we'll see that drop. If he could stay there, wow, we're going to blow the lid off.
We're already 3 minutes in. It's quite a pace that he's maintaining. These two guys so evenly matched. When you think about evenly matched athletes, you know, you think of Arnie Palmer and Jack Nicklaus, you know, Brady and Manning. You think of guys who mirror one another in their sport. Ryan Leaf, Johnny Manziel, and then, of course, Matt Stoney and Joey Chestnut, just evenly matched guys, and they're going to have a dogfight here today. But Chestnut really laying the hammer down right now.
Yeah, look at this. He has fallen behind. Stoney has 8 dogs now behind Chestnut. Chestnut is setting a blistering pace. We have little under 6.5 minutes to go.
So this kid came out with a lot of pageantry. Yasser Salem. I've always been fascinated by people who's named after municipalities like Orlando Bloom, John Denver, Alyssa Milano, and of course this man, Yasser Salem, one of our top performing competitors. Sincati is what stands between him. Well, Sincati and Morgan are what stand between him and third place. But he's holding tight right now at 17.
As course as we expected, though, Sincati and Salem are well back in that battle that is actually for third place. It's still alive. But look at the lead. 8 dogs over Stoney. 5 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the contest. Chestnut is running away.
He's on an 80 pace right now. I'm happy to say it. It's unbelievable. And there's those cheeks we referenced.
Last year, you got to remember, we're talking 62 dogs won this contest. That, of course, Matt Stoney.
There's from Louisiana, born in Baton Rouge, lives in New Orleans right now, the Acme Oyster Eating Champion, ate 39 to qualify, right there with Sincati, really. Hard-boiled egg champ, a crawfish champ, a gumbo champ, but he's up here in the Northeast going after the hot dogs today.
As we approach the halfway point, Chestnut with 43. Remember, he set a record 2 weeks ago in D.C., 73.5 dogs and buns. Is he on that pace now?
Easily. He's on a faster pace than that, north of 80 right now. I don't know how long he can sustain it. You know, that beard is interesting. There's no shortage of beards out here in Brooklyn, but his is so utilitarian, so straightforward. I thought he might have shaved it when we knew it was going to be north of 80 today, because it's like a pair of Carhartts for the face. I thought it would slow him down and make him hot, but obviously a style statement. And of course, Matt with his wispy hair is a great stylish guy too.
Still 10 behind. 4 minutes 30 left to go. If Stoney's going to do anything, now is the moment. He's got to pick his game up. 47 for Chestnut. Sincati sits there in third with 30.
That's really impressive by Sincati. Now Salem and Esper going back and forth, trading punches. The Megatoad, though, what an eater.
Right at 4 minutes to go now.
He maintains a strict diet, fiber diet. I call it moral fiber. This guy's such a balanced competitor.
Matt Stoney, of course, when he arrives at the combination, as he goes through the 50 mark, Stoney, 130 pounds.
Unbelievable.
He's going to put about 7.5 pounds of hot dogs and buns into him during this day.
There he is from Boston, Massachusetts. Oxford, just outside of Boston. Jeffrey Esper, another guy, very much in the run for third place. But Cincotti, I think, is really the favorite now.
Now a 12-dog edge. Chestnut over Stoney. Just under 3.5 to go. Cincotti at 33.
You got Stoney and Chestnut, both north of 40. We haven't even ticked off 7 minutes yet.
Stoney is still very much in this contest at a pace right at 80 at this moment.
It's unbelievable. We've left the contingent world and entered the metaphysical, because I've never seen numbers like this ever in my life.
There's Chestnut. He continues, but Stoney, he's not giving up. I mean, he's hard on it. His pace is just slow. He's slow by almost 1.5 dogs per minute against Chestnut.
Well, you know, they say that you celebrate victories and you learn from losses, and Joey told me that he really learned last year that he had to come in prepared mentally and physically. He retooled his game, redoubled his efforts, and he's shown them the results of that discipline are on display here.
And he's changed part of his training style coming to this. He looked at everything that he'd been doing, erased all that, started with a fresh page.
Yeah, he's also not the young man that he once was, you know. Tom Brady, you know, he has to change his game when he gets north of 30, 32, and that's what Gideon Oji.
Fourth place, 32. Nigerian, 6'9".
Yeah, and we said it last year that height is a benefit in basketball, but it's a detriment at the table because the food has to travel further to get down to your stomach, and he's got to travel further to get to the food.
You got a longer storage area. All right, just under 2 minutes now. 1:54. Chestnut ahead. 60 dogs right now. He's approaching what was last year's winning number, which was 62. Stoney, he's not in the game as we go into the final seconds of this competition.
I'll tell you who's in the game is that kid Cincotti and OG as well, and Esper and all those guys. There's no Eater X now standing between them and third place. But the story is quickly becoming Joey Chestnut.
OG right now is over his personal best, which was 30 dogs. He sits at 34. Cincotti at 37. Chestnut 62. Last year's winning number now to 63. 1:16 to go. This is going for Chestnut, barring some sort of catastrophic occurrence.
It would take a reversal at this point, Paul.
And we've talked about in the rules, you may not have a reversal of fortune. That would change this contest, certainly.
It's unbelievable.
In the final minute.
15 hot dog margin in the final minute. He could get to a Nathan's record. 69 was the record on this corner. Joey looks like he's going to do it again. He will return to his rightful place atop the food chain. He is the Tyrant Lizard King, the king of Coney Island. This is not a democracy, Paul. This is one-man rule, and the ruler is Joey Chestnut.
30 seconds now to go. Joey Chestnut with 7. He's averaging still 7.1 dogs per minute. Can he get to the record? Can he get past it? Is he going to get anywhere near 70? 20 seconds to go. Chestnut well over Stoney. Stoney's not in the game. It's all about Chestnut. It's all about the mustard belt, and it's all about the record now. 10 seconds to go. He's got to get that one down. There we go with 69. Final seconds. He got it. And he got 70.
The most
he hit 70.
The most hot dogs ever eaten on the corner of Surf and Stillwell Avenues by the greatest eater in the history of mankind.
Well, if he wanted to be inspired by last year to bring him to a comeback, there it is. Joey Chestnut, it's unofficial, but 70 dogs and buns. Stoney well behind with 53. Wow. We expected it to go a little closer. So the contest is now complete. Joey Chestnut is the champion. And shortly we will come back and speak with the winner of the Mustard Belt at Coney Island. Today's telecast is brought to you by Nathan's Famous, celebrating 100 years of flavor and fun. Nathan's Famous. This is the original. It's official now. Here's George Shea.
In second place, with 53 Nathan's Famous hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes, last year's champion, Matthew Stoney. Last year, Matt beat Joey Chestnut and knocked him down. But there are no white flags in San Jose, and he came back stronger than I have ever seen before. With 70 Nathan's famous hot dogs and buns, a Coney Island record, former 8-time champion of the world, the once and future king, Joey Chestnut! Hot dogs and buns! 70 hot dogs and buns!
That was a tough day for Matt Stonie. Heck of a day for this rookie Carmen Cincotti, and a record-setting day for Joey Jaws Chestnut, who put together his 9th championship out here in Coney Island.
And now, Joey is with George Shea.
You're here in Coney Island. This is your town. This is your neighborhood. You own this corner. How does this feel? Last year was a tough year. How does it feel to come back?
Oh, last year was rough, but as I was leaving, everybody was like, oh, it's going to make next year better. And everybody was right. This year, the best year ever, and coming back to Coney Island. And this audio, the crowd, it's amazing.
One question. Will you be back next year to give Matt a chance at the champ?
You know, he has a chance to qualify, and maybe he'll break a record in his qualifier. And, you know what, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rock on which he stands is not a rock. It is the United States of America. He has God's username and password, and he does with it what he chooses. He is American exceptionalism. He is America itself. Joey Chestnut!
Okay. The 100th anniversary is history. Join us again in 1 year here at Coney Island, Brooklyn. I'm Paul Page saying happy 4th of July to everyone. It's going to be a great 4th of July weekend. Thank you for joining us here at Coney Island and Nathan's.